Okay, everybody. Hey, thanks for getting on. It's Rick Silva. Couple ground rules for you real quick during this webinar. I have my questions box open. You can feel free to ask questions all throughout the webinar. I'll do my best to answer them. There's no way I'm going to be able to answer them all. This webinar, basically how it's going to go is I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to give you what I think the foundation of networking is, and it's a lot different than what people think it is. And then those of you that registered late, you would have not received the webinar questionnaire from me, but I emailed. We had a lot of people register. I emailed the first 40 or 50 people with questions. Their number one question about networking, and I'm going to do my best to answer them in this webinar. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, the foundation, what networking is, because it's major confusion of what networking actually is. And then I'm going to answer a whole bunch of your questions, and it's basically going to be kind of like a live one-way coaching experience to give you an idea of how I do this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to abbreviate a story about a guy I know. And this guy grew up in San Leandro, and he got an engineering degree years ago in the 90s. And this guy started working for a company called Eastman Kodak, and then got laid off and got hired by Cisco Systems as a recruiter, and literally rode a wave of fame and fortune in the dot-com world, made millions and millions of dollars, made tens of thousands of cold calls, and then got laid off. And you guys know about the dot-com crash. That guy lost millions of dollars at 29 years old, multimillionaire at 30 years old, broke. He went on to have a couple other jobs, and in February started teaching networking and running networking groups 15 years ago. Got divorced February 12th of 2008. Those of you that remember the real estate crash, his house went $300,000 under market. He did a deed of trust transfer and handed that house over to his ex-wife. He then rented an apartment, and at the same time he rented the apartment, his income went from $14,000 a month down to $6,000 a month, and had to pay rent, bills, child support, went bankrupt, moved in with a friend, put everything he owned in storage, lived with his friend for 6 months. His friend after 6 months moved away, and this guy moved into his office, and he was homeless. For 7 months he lived in his office and showered at the gym. And then he met a lovely lady who does a very specific type of real estate, taught her how to network, and that guy became a multi-millionaire from homeless to today in 7.5 years. And that guy I've been telling you about is me. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how I did that. I get emotional when I tell the story, so I don't give all the details because I'll start crying. You guys don't want to hear me crying on a webinar. When I hear cry. So that's basically my story, and I was trying to veil it a little bit, but those of you that know me for a long time know my story. So I have videos on it and stuff. It's enough about that. So I always joke, say I have a PhD from Automobile University. I got a PhD in my car. These numbers are very conservative, that I've read over 500 books and listened to over 8,000 hours of everybody you could name, Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, everybody in my car. This is also conservative, that I've had over 5,000 one-on-one coffee meetings. Learned a lot. You have that many coffee meetings, it's impossible not to learn something. Now, I live in San Ramon. Those of you who live in the Bay Area, those roughly 6,000 coffee meetings were between Livermore and Walnut Creek. That led to type 2 diabetes, which I ended up curing. Sitting in coffee shops that much, you're going to be eating a lot of gunk. But that's a whole nother story. So, all right. So this is if I was to just lay it out, I was 2008 bankrupt. That was me. That's the actual car. That was my dream car at the time that got repossessed. That's my Cadillac DeVille DTS. And now wealthy again. Currently, my wife hates it when I talk about income, but here's the thing about talking about income. If I'm going to teach you how to make money, I better be making a lot. So instead of telling you how much you make, you can do the research. My income is in the top 0.0002% of Americans. It's plus over $500,000 a year. I'll leave it there, and I work less than 15 hours a week. I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully that impresses you a little bit, and maybe you'll listen a little closer. All right. 3 outcomes for our time together. I cannot tell you if this webinar is going to be 45 minutes or an hour and a half. It's certainly going to be closer to the hour and a half than it is the 45 minutes. First outcome is to share the most important principles and laws that I've learned about how to have networking success. That's number one. Number two is, again, I emailed the first 30-ish of you that registered for this webinar, and about 8 or 10 of you responded, and I'm taking those questions. I'm going to do everything I can to answer those questions on this webinar. Also, this is being recorded. When it's done, I'll send you the recording. I'm going to be doing these at least once a month. So next time, and it's going to be completely different topics. I can do 30, 40 hours on networking on webinars. So the next one will be different. You can send me your questions. I'll answer them on that one if I didn't get to them on this one. And then my third outcome is an extended invitation for you and I to enter in a mentoring relationship, whether it's one of my courses or one-on-one coaching. If that's something you're interested in, I'll tell you about it at the end. Okay, so if you're in the marketing space like I am, you hear all the time people talk about funnels and pipeline and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to give you my definition of what a sales pipeline looks like. So the first thing I want to tell you is, because I'm not technically a sales trainer, I'm a networking dude. I'm going to do the networking pipeline. So to me, it's a networking pipeline, not a sales pipeline. I'll say this over and over. I'll try not to say it too many times today, but the greatest salesman in the world who doesn't have leads and referrals will always be outperformed by the worst salesman in the world who has unlimited leads and referrals. That's just, you can be the greatest salesperson. If you don't have people to talk to and sell to, yeah, you're going to be broke. So I'm a networker. I like referrals. I do not like leads. I like referrals. That's me, and I'll explain what the difference is here shortly. But let's talk about your business. And I don't care what business you have, whatever you're doing currently for biz dev. Now, I want to also tell you that my specialty lies in about 6 different industries, though I built this system to work in any industry: real estate, mortgage, financial planners, insurance agents, chiropractors, and dentists. It works in any industry. It works really super beyond good in those 6, but it works in any industry. All right, whatever industry you are in, and I got a lot of, I'm looking at the list of people on, I got a lot of industries here. There's only 4 ways that you are ever going to build your business. One of them is through cold calling. And I have a 4-word definition of what cold calling is, and that's a waste of time. I'm going to go deeper later, but when you're cold calling for business, as soon as you ultimately make the sale, you're unemployed, and you got to start all over again. I've made over 20,000 cold calls. I have a lot of experience with it. I'm really good on the phone, though I don't talk on the phone more than 5 or 10 minutes a week for doing any kind of business development. Having said that, it is absolutely the quickest way to make sales. There's no quicker way to make sales than cold calling. You're just not going to find an industry anywhere in the world where the top 30% of income earners bang the phones. It ages you. It wears you out. It's stressful. It takes way too much time in the long run compared to networking. So I'll try not to say this a million times either. The average person spends 20 to 30 hours a week looking for business. Okay, the reason I only have to work, give or take, 15 hours a week is because I don't look for business. I've trained real estate agents and mortgage lenders how to send us referrals for my wife's real estate business. For my networking groups, the members in the group know how to refer I don't spend any time looking for business for my networking groups or my wife's real estate business. So I get to make a lot of money and not have to work that hard because other people are doing it for me. It's something called the ant farm. You got to build an ant farm. We are definitely not covering that today. That's a whole seminar. Part two, or the second way to build your business, is through advertising. It's the best source for leads, but it's an absolute complete waste of money if you don't track it. Don't have a good lead conversion system in place. Don't have good ad copy. It's a complete waste of time. So on the left-hand side, cold calling is just, you're just wasting your life doing that. You're not going to meet anybody who's on a high-income earner for longer than a year banging the phones. It just wears you out. Advertising costs a lot of money. I'm not saying don't advertise. I advertise very, very strategically. Certain industries, and it's the 6 I named, if you're in real estate or anything, think about your appointment you have with a new client. I want you to think about that. And how long it takes to work with, to even see if they want to hire you. Now, in my wife's land investing business, the first appointment takes 45 minutes to an hour and a half. If it's from a lead, you get a lot of tire kickers. If it's a referral from a power partner, the close rate goes up like tenfold. So I want to spend time with people who have been vetted. We're going to get into that. There are people on this webinar who sent me questions about how to train your referral partners. We're going to go into all that shortly. Costs a lot of money, creates tire kickers. I'm going to speed up just a little bit here. I got a lot to cover with you guys. And then there's word of mouth. Word of mouth is your warm market. You just started a new business, new product, whatever. You tell everybody you know, that's word of mouth. You tell everybody you know, that's word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is going to last until you run out of your current database of people to talk to. And then the last one is my favorite, and that's networking. You talk to complete strangers. The ultimate goal is to create win-win relationships following the natural laws of success. The laws are the key to everything. I'll go over them with you shortly. Networking by far takes the most time. In the long run, it's the only way to create wealth, high income, and not kill yourself doing it. So I want you to look at my arrow if you can see it. The left-hand corner is cold calling. What we want to do is we want to go from cold calling and end up over here in networking. The left-hand side is red for a reason, because it's hard, it costs money, it creates leads. Leads are harder to close. I want you to remember this saying: when you advertise, you are commoditized. When you advertise, the first question that people ask you is how much? How much? Hey, how much? How much? How much? Because you're being commoditized. Word of mouth is people you know and networking. So if you're a real estate agent and I sit down with my CPA and my CPA is looking and go, man, if you might want to think about doing some investing. And my CPA hands me the business card of a real estate agent. When I call that real estate agent, 95% of the deal is done because my trusted advisor told me to call you. When you advertise, you are commoditized. When you get a referral, the last question they ask you is how much. So if you're going to cold call or advertise, you have got to really, really know how to sell yourself. When it's a referral, 90% of the deal is done. And I'm going to show you some ways to then put you over the top and make you different than anyone else. We'll see how much of that we get to today. All right. So we do any 4 of these things here. We do cold calling, advertising, word of mouth, networking. Anything you do currently to build your business falls in one of those 4 squares. You see the arrows aiming into the pipeline. Now we have leads coming in, referrals coming into our business. We're going to run them through a pre-screening process. I'm going to show you mine for my wife's real estate business. I'm going to give you the form. I have it. I'm going to give it to you. You got to do a needs analysis. Do you want to work with them? Can you work with them? Because I always want you to remember the 80-20 principle. 80% of your money is earned by the top 20% of your clients. 80% of your time is wasted by the bottom 20%. So I want you to be very, very picky who you work with. We're going to pre-close them. We're going to close. This is the big key. Those of you that have been through my elevator speech training is right here. We have got to figure out how to convert these people on the right-hand side who have purchased from you to fall into your ant farm. Teach them how to find you business. We'll go into that a little bit. Every one of these slides is a 2-hour class. So obviously we can't get it all, but I'm going to touch on as much as I can. We got to convert some, if not all of our clients into our non-commissioned, non-salaried sales force, because the more people that are spreading the word for us, the more referrals we're receiving, the less advertising we have to do, which then we're not dealing with leads and we're not spending money. We're definitely not cold calling. We are sitting and we are fielding referrals, meaning we are writing business and we're making more money in much less time and way less stressful. Now we got to go into what the heck. Yeah, Rick, selling. Yeah, marketing. Yeah, referral marketing. Yeah. No. So before I even go over these three, I'm going to tell you right now that selling, marketing, and networking have nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with each other. So let's go over the definition. Selling. Selling is first and foremost a transaction between the seller and the prospective buyer or buyers. Selling is the art of persuading the consumer that buying the product or service will benefit him or her. Selling is a process by which one person guides other people's behavior along a path in a desired direction, culminating in the purchase of a product or service. Now, again, the greatest salesman in the world is broke if he doesn't have anyone to talk to. So people, all these sales trainers, they teach you how to 10,000 different ways to close a sale, but you got nobody to talk to. Sales, in my opinion, is strictly my opinion. If you don't have people to talk to, selling doesn't matter. I'm a front end guy. I bring in the business, get so highly qualified, I don't need to even know how to close to make $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year easily. Here's the definition of marketing. An organizational function and a set of processes for creating, communicating, delivering value to customers. The ongoing process of moving people closer to making a decision to purchase or use our products or services. If it doesn't facilitate a sale, it's not marketing. So I want you to think about brochures, websites, social media, all of that good stuff. What you're doing is you're building a name, you're building a brand. You're trying your best to knock down the barriers of who's this guy, I don't know anything about him. You're building trust, all that good stuff. It's going to lead you to leads where people are going to go, hey, I saw this, I saw that. I think I want to learn more about you. It's going to be maybe a little bit more of a warmer lead. It is absolutely not a referral. Brochures, what it's doing is it's emphasizing and reiterating everything you told them in the sales presentation. Same with websites. Websites confirming and reaffirming what you told them during the sales presentation. So marketing supports sales. Great. Awesome. I do it. It's awesome. This is where people get messed up because they think they know what networking is, and it's completely different. It doesn't even exist in the same conversation. So I have a whole bunch of definitions, but here's the shortest one, and we're going to go into it more. I feel that networking is through the law of reciprocity and 5 other laws, by the way, a system in which you help others reach their personal and professional goals, knowing that in return, you'll be helped in reaching yours. I want to make very clear, it doesn't say when you help someone, they're going to help you, because it does not work that way. Just because you help somebody doesn't mean that person's going to help you. It means the universe is going to help you. We don't know where it's going to come from. Now, people want to ask me to coach them. They hit me with questions. And here's the thing. I can't answer any of your questions and make them stick and make them work if you're not following the 6 laws. Break one of the laws, then everything I teach you is not going to work anyway. I can't go into unbelievable detail in every one of these laws because, again, I don't want to do a 4-day webinar and you are going to kill me. I am going to go over briefly 2 of the laws inside of answering some of those questions you guys emailed me, so we'll get there. But we're going to start with the law of attraction. And those of you that have been through my elevator speech training, the law of attraction is built in through the reticular activating system in the brainstem. Again, that's a whole nother class. I have the videos. I'll be more than happy to send you if you want to hit me up for elevator speech videos. I'll help you with the reticular activating system. It's in your brainstem. It's a radio. It's an AM/FM radio, just like the one we all grew up with. And if you're too young, then it's your satellite radio. It's tapping into something you can't see. So I want you to think about if you're holding a radio in your hand, you could tune it to any station you want. The radio in your car, you can tune it to any station you want. You cannot see the radio station, but it's there. So all the money and all the referrals you want, you can't see them. They're right in front of you. We're going to program the reticular activating system to attract what we want. So I'm going to give you just a quick example regarding tuning forks. So it's there, but I'd rather not read what's on the screen. I want to just explain it. So I'm going to back up because I don't want you to get distracted with it. If you have a tuning fork that's in the key of A, let's say, and you strike it, and you take another tuning fork in the key of C and you strike it, and they're both making whatever cool sound they're making, you take them and you put them next to each other, they will cancel each other out and go to zero. They will stop resonating. If you guys hear me pause for a second, if you heard me in the beginning, I'm getting hammered with allergies, so I'm trying to sip tea without sipping in your ear, so I'm muting myself. Okay, so when you don't resonate, you cancel out. So let's see if it's here on the screen. It might be on the bottom one. Yeah, two people resonating. Do you see the bottom paragraph, the first sentence, likewise, two people resonate? I know this has happened to you. You've stood next to someone and go, that guy puts off a weird vibe. There's something about that guy I don't like. I don't trust that guy. It's just a feeling that I have. So just like the radio station that's floating around in the air that you can't see, but you can tap into it with a radio, you're tapping into the vibrations of the world through the reticular activating system in your brain stem. If somebody weirds you out, you're not wrong. They just don't resonate with you. They might resonate with other people. They don't resonate with you. There's certain types of music I absolutely cannot listen to. And you probably have the same thing. I listen to certain music. My wife has to run out of the room. It doesn't resonate with her. It's just the way it is. Another way to look at the law of attraction is with synchronicity, we attract from the outside what we resonate with on the inside. It's what you think about all the time. Another way is I attract to my life whatever I give my attention, energy, and focus to, whether wanted or unwanted. So we have got to understand the law of attraction. It's covered in The Secret. The Secret doesn't go anywhere near as deep. The lady that did The Secret learned it from Bob Proctor, and that's who I've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours studying. If you really want to learn about the law of attraction, you study Bob Proctor. All right, now we're going to answer some questions, and Scott is on because I see Scott's name on my list. I know Scott personally. Actually, I know a lot of you personally that are on this webinar today. Now, I'm going to be hard on some of you because sometimes we gotta get tough. We gotta get tough to really get this. So, by the way, I didn't say this in the beginning. If sometime in this webinar you don't go, Rick's crazy, there's something wrong with that guy. That'll never work. Then I haven't done my job because I am crazy and I want you to think this stuff doesn't work. Because if you think that, actually, I don't want you to think it, but if you do, if you think this stuff doesn't work, you're correct. It doesn't work for you, but it works for, just find anybody who makes $500,000 to $5 million a year and ask them if you can take them to lunch. You dig in deep, this is the stuff they're doing. All right. So this is the question from Scott. How to give more referrals to people in my groups like B2B, which is my company, BNI, other groups. I have to give more, so in return, receive more myself. So that last sentence, I have to give more, so in return, I receive more. Here comes the gut shot. Ooh, that hurt. Here it comes. Now I'm looking at my screen and I'm trying to figure out why this is not showing up. So I'm going to have to, this is a big concern. There it is. Why is it not showing up on full screen, guys? Huh. Interesting. Okay. We're going to go into slide view here. I do not know why this is not showing up, but it's critically important to get it. So we're going to go slide view here for a second. So just pay attention to this slide right here. The slide on the screen. I know you can see the slides on the left. Don't worry about those. I'm hoping you all can see the writing. I'm going to read it to you. This is regarding the law of reciprocity. Okay. The Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Bible. They don't agree on anything except a few things. Okay. Hey, guys, I'll send the highlight to the back. I really wanted to have you guys see this. How's that? Is that better? Hey, I just blew it up. Boom. There it is. The Bhagavad Gita, Hindu scripture, it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, it's in every writing in the history of the world. I sorry about not having this set up. I thought the green would look pretty cool. The bottom line is that all recorded writings in the history of religion agree on two things. One is love, and one is the belief in the law of reciprocity. So next slide, I got to fix it again, and it'll be great if hitting that button that I just hit puts it, boom. All right. Hey, guys, I'm a professional networker. I'm not a professional slide maker. Here's another definition. Law of reciprocity is one of the most powerful of all determinants of human behavior. This is because nobody likes to feel that he or she is obligated to someone else. When someone does something nice for us, we want to repay that. However, next slide. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to crack that button, which is going to make it really big. And there it is. Heaven keeps accounts of giving, and in the end, blessings will return to the giver multiplied manyfold over. It doesn't say give to John so you can get back from Larry. So, right here on the bottom paragraph, we must give first with no thought of return to expect to receive. Without having given is to violate the universal law. So let's read it again. We must give first with no thought of return. To expect to receive without having given is to violate the law. We have got to give. We cannot think about the return. And then the next sentence, on the other hand, giving in order to receive with strings attached, with the intention of currying favor, or in order to make a name for oneself, is condemned. What this is telling you is if you're giving to get something in return, you're breaking the law. So, Scott, I'm going to go back, and I got one more for you. And I want to read this to you again. How to give more referrals. I have to give more, so in return, I'll receive more. As long as you don't look at that and go, the only reason I'm giving is to get more. You have to give because you're dying to give more than anything else. When you die to give help to other people tenfold over you making money, we got it. Then you got the law of reciprocity. I thought the green was so cool, and I didn't know it didn't show up when you go to full mode. All right, let's just blow that up. We can't. When we try to invoke reciprocity directly, we lose sight of the reason, and the reason is helping others. So I'm right here in the middle. When we try to invoke it directly, we lose sight of the reason, and then it won't work. Paradoxically, it's in the helping others without expecting return that reciprocity works. The path of reciprocity is indirect. Reciprocity ensues from the social capital built by making contributions to others. Okay, help other people. Don't worry about where it's going to come from, and don't think about it. Help other people because it's the right thing to do, and you couldn't think of anything better than that. Final thoughts on reciprocity. You can wipe out your reciprocity account with a single withdrawal if you don't have a large enough. So you do a few things to help someone, and then you ask for a favor in return that's 10 times bigger than what they've done for you. Don't expect them to even respond. So the second paragraph says you make deposits or receive credits by making favorable impressions on others, by doing things for them. You make deposits through courtesy, kindness, honesty, respect, and in my business, by giving out tons of referrals and introductions. So here's my last thought about reciprocity, and this should drive it home the best I can. I'm going to tell you the story about the old man and his fireplace. So I want you to think about a log cabin, and in that log cabin is a wood-burning stove. You go there with your grandfather. You walk in, your grandfather walks up to the wood-burning stove, gets on his knees, and he's rubbing his hands together as he's shivering. And there's nothing in the stove, but he's there rubbing his hands together, and you walk around and you go, Grandpa, what are you doing? Oh, it's a fireplace. I'm waiting for the heat. It's a fireplace. I'm waiting for the heat. So let's break down how you actually get the heat. You got to go outside. You got to grab your axe. Then you got to sharpen the axe. Then you got to walk out in the forest. You got to chop down a tree. Then if you're going to take the bark off, cool. If not, you still got to cut it up. You got to take the branches off. You got to break down the branches. You got to lug all of that stuff to the wall next to the cabin. Then you got to carry some of it inside. You got to get some paper and crunch it up. You got to put some kindling on it. And then if you have matches or a lighter, or if you have to old school start the fire, do that, start the fire. Then you got to blow on it. You got to stoke it. You got to sit there. You got to help it. You got to. Then and only then do you get the fire. See, people come up to me, Rick, I network and I get nothing. Rick, I go to networking events. They don't work. Rick, I go to referral groups. I never get referrals. Holy smokes, you don't get referrals because you're in front of the wood-burning stove. You've done nothing. You don't deserve it. What gives you the right to think you own referrals because you showed up? When you do all of those things I said, all of those steps, then maybe you'll get some referrals, maybe. Question from Mark. We're going to go back to blow-up mode here. All right. Question from Mark. Number one concern about networking is the amount of time it takes to really work as opposed to other forms of prospecting like cold calling. So cold calling falls under marketing. Cold calling falls under lead generating. So this is going to be the easiest way to explain to you the difference. Okay, so if you're a real estate agent and you go and you knock on 100 doors, you're a real estate agent, you knock on 100 doors. Hey, my name's Rick Silva. I'm a local real estate agent looking to see if you're looking to buy or sell your home in the next 30 to 60 days, and you smile. Let's say if you knock on 100 doors, you get one piece of business. Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. You also were walking in the rain, wasting miles on your car, wearing out your shoes and your clothes. It's embarrassing. You look like a beggar, but let's forget all of that stuff. You knocked on 100 doors. You got one sale. Awesome. You make this sale. Guess what? You are now 100% absolutely unemployed. You got to go do it all over again. Now, take the same real estate agent that I train, and they are absolutely going to go cold call. They are going to knock on the doors of every estate planning attorney, insurance agent, mortgage broker, financial planner, CPA that they can find. And they're going to sit down with them and they're going to teach them what they do. They're going to learn about that professional, and they're going to teach that person how to send them referrals. So when they get a referral from one of those 100 people, they've now building a lifetime pipeline of referrals from that person. Cold call to make a sale, you're unemployed. Cold call to network and to power partner, you build a life, you build a career, you build wealth and riches. That's all I'm going to say about cold calling. Boom. This is where people are when they start. Most people have to cold call. I got it. But it's something you should not be doing longer than 6 months. And this is going to hurt if you're cold calling. If you're cold calling, you simply do not know how to build relationships. It's a learnable skill, and I can teach you. If you have the money, you're doing some advertising, man, you ain't getting any referrals. This is what I want your business to look like. And in fact, I don't want to see the red at all. Hopefully, you're not cold calling at all. I haven't picked up the phone in 14 years to look for business. All right. Joy. Let me see. Joy is on. Joy is now smiling. Joy is sitting wherever she's sitting and she's smiling because here comes Joy. How would I word a message that I'll pay some percent for referrals, Joy? I got whole classes and videos on this. So if any of you have ever, if you can pay referral fees, this is, I could spend hours on this. And if the person you're talking, you can accept them. Not everyone can accept referral fees. I'm going to teach you wording that will help you with people who cannot directly receive referral fees. I am going to tell you everyone can accept referral fees. They just don't know it. I've given out. So my goal, just so you know, my personal goal is to pay $100,000 a year in referral fees. That's my goal every year, to pay $100,000 in referral fees every year. So let's go into some ideas. Again, I have entire classes on this, and I just can't do it all. I'll do the best I can to cover as much as I can. I'm looking at the view you guys have. Hopefully the bottom one's not cut off. If it is, I'll tell you what it says. All right, so I call paying referral fees ethically bribing. I'm going to talk to you about the wording a little bit. So these are all things that I've done, and inside of this, I hope this gives you ideas on how you can pay referral fees. There are two industries that I know for sure, and there are only two, who cannot accept referral fees, but they can. There are, title's another one, title agents, attorneys, CPAs. If a CPA refers somebody to you who's a paying client, they cannot accept a referral fee. If they refer somebody to you who's not a paying client, they absolutely can accept a referral fee. That's number one. Number two, dentists can pay them, and I'm going to teach you the wording. And if it's good enough for a dentist, there's no reason it can't be good enough for you. If I'm a dentist and I go, hey, Angelica, thank you very much for referring your sister Nancy to me. I want to give you this $20 or $40. I want to give you this bottle of wine. I want to give you these tickets in to say thank you. Okay, that dentist can lose his medical practice license. That same dentist, here's how he can give referrals. Angelica, thank you very much for supporting my practice. I wanted to give you this bottle of wine. No problem. If they put a name to it, thank you for referring your sister Janice to me for becoming a patient, and then give you a referral fee. No, 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 no. Angelica, thanks for supporting my practice. Yes, 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 yes. There is something else, and it's the fourth one down, and it's called a marketing consulting fee. You do not have to pay a referral fee. You can pay a marketing consulting fee. A lot of people have side businesses, and they can take money for marketing consulting fees. Back up to the second one. I've worked with a few financial planners that just would not take it. Awesome. What's your favorite charity? And I donated money in their name. I also deposited some money in their kids' bank accounts. You can take them to dinner. Kids College Fund, I just said that. You can give gift cards, athletic tickets, concert tickets. You can barter. Give your services for free or discounted. Pay them a commission. Pay them a finder's fee. Pay them a percentage. Something else you want to do is you want to ask them if they can even accept it. And if they can't, you want to educate them on maybe they can accept a marketing consulting fee. Ask if they pay finder fees, referral fees, marketing fees. Do they do a percentage of the transaction? Do they pay a flat fee? Do they discount the products? Maybe you want to use the product. I've done stuff for people and with people just so I could get their product. I just did some bartering with a massage therapist recently. Do they barter? So as far as the wording goes, just take these two slides and just say, hey, do you accept it? Here's what I do, just in case you'd like to know, and just lay out what you want to do. Now, Joy, some people want a flat dollar amount. Some people want a percentage. Some people want it ongoing as long as you're getting paid to get a percentage. Ask them before you say a number. Don't give them a number. Ask them what they think is fair, because they might think 150 is fair and you're going to offer 500. So if you were going to offer 500 and they think 150 is fair, say, you know what, I'll give you 250, and they'll be really excited. Now, if you are going to give them $100 and they think 500 is fair, then you're probably not going to build your referral practice with referral fees if you're paying too low. Ask your market their opinion. Okay. I have an entire video training on this. I'm not going to go too deep in it, but I want you to know there's something called the powerful per hour rate. I have a video on YouTube. I'll send it to you if you contact me. Called PPHR, powerful per hour rate. I'm going to lay this out as quickly as I can. In my wife's land investing business, if a mortgage lender, I've made millions of dollars networking with mortgage lenders. If a mortgage lender sends me, Harold, I'll let you know in 1 second how you can contact me. If a mortgage lender sends us a referral, it's about a 10 or 15 minute conversation they're going to have with the client. Let's say that client they referred to us has $100,000 in an old 401k. They make it into a self-directed IRA. They invest $100,000 with us. We're going to pay that mortgage lender 2%, $2,000 for a 5 to 15 minute phone call with that client. We take it over. We write them a check for $2,000. It'll never take 15 minutes, but let's say that mortgage lender talked to that person for 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes goes into an hour 4 times. That person made $2,000, so that referral 4 times 2,000 works out to $8,000 an hour. That's called powerful per hour rate. I pay mortgage lenders this all the time, and I know the average mortgage lender, when they're in the process on a loan, makes between $225 and $400 an hour. I'm paying $8,000 an hour, which is why I've paid tens of thousands of dollars of referral fees to mortgage lenders. You need to figure out for your business. Harold, you probably got an email from me or something to get on this webinar, but everybody, if you want to, like I'm saying, contact me for this and contact me for that. I'm going to give this to you right now. This is my personal, and I'm going to leave it here for just a second. There's my personal email address, rick@b2bgathering.com. rick@b2bgathering.com. RESPA issues, all that good stuff. There's ways around all of that stuff. And hey, if they don't want to accept the referral fee, it's totally fine. I know they'll go to dinner with you. There are a very few people who will not accept it any other. Hey, that's great. If they don't want to accept it, it's totally fine. I've had people go, Rick, I wouldn't take $1 from you. I want to help you because I love you so much. Awesome. But here's the money's here if you want it. Nope. Then donate it to their favorite charity. It's 1 in 50 that are going to claim RESPA issues and all these other things. So let's not worry about the 1 in 50. Find the people who want to partner with you. Just find them. So if you want the PPHR video, I'm going to give you all my contact information at the end, guys. I got an offer for you at the end that's going to completely blow you away. So you're going to get all my contact information here. It's coming up. We don't have that much more to go. Is Juanita on? Juanita's on. All right. How do I take an existing networking event and make it into a referral generating group of business owners for most, if not all, and earn an income at the same time? So about 2 or 3 months ago, I did a 50-minute webinar on how you could partner with me to start your own B2B gathering networking group. I've been running groups for 15 years. I've facilitated about 1,200 referral group meetings. If you want me to teach you step by step how to create a group that's going to pay somewhere in the neighborhood, if you have 30 members all paying you $400 a year, it's $12,000 a year. You're the facilitator, you're the leader, you're the big cheese. You'll learn everything about it from me. You just saw my email address. There it is again, rick@b2bgathering.com. I'll send you that webinar. You can learn how to work with me to run your own networking group. So that answer there is 10 hours. The short answer is I can teach you how to do it. Weston is not on. He let me know he wouldn't be on. This is a really long question, guys. Next time I send an email out saying, send me your number 1 question, don't make it 2 pages long. But let's go over it. How to keep many relationships warm. How does one keep many relationships warm enough so that you have a relatively simple ask, you get the courtesy of a response? It seems like 50% of my asks go ignored when they're asked in the messaging feature of LinkedIn. And this is despite the fact that the people are very active on LinkedIn. I think my problem is that I put the same weight of LinkedIn context versus situational context. You're right there. Don't expect anything from LinkedIn or Facebook. Don't expect anything from people you haven't sat with and shook their hand and breathed them in eye to eye. I don't put a lot of weight on anything on LinkedIn. It's a lead generating tool, just like Facebook is. So I'm going to read the next page because he sent me a long one. I'm seeking your sage advice on generally developing and marketing workshops, especially finding low-cost venues. I have a close friend who's marketing manager for an IT manager, blah, blah, blah. He's currently on the blah, blah, blah platform. He asked me to help him plan a workshop. Are you open to getting a coffee for 10 minutes? So what he did is he sent that message. This message here, I'm asking for your sage advice, all of that good stuff. And this one, I'm seeking your advice. He emailed the guy, seeing if the guy would talk to him for 10 or 15 minutes to help him strategize on coming up with a workshop. If any of you sent me that email, I am not responding unless you got a checkbook in your hand. It's not a 10-minute call, and that coffee meeting is going to be 2 or 3 hours long. And I'm going to go back to the law of reciprocity. How much have you done for this guy, with this guy? And forget that guy. How much have you given to the universe? To ask for this big of a request for someone, I don't know how much of the law of reciprocity you follow. I don't know what you've done for anyone else. I don't know what you've done for this guy. But that sounds like a very large bank account request. And you may have only deposited pennies in the bank account. I don't know enough to answer this question other than if he's not responding, sorry. Is Moses on? Moses is not on. The number one question is that given that I have now grown my LinkedIn network to 4,000 plus, is how can I leverage my network to create referrals that will almost always lead to more sales and thereby raise more income to sustainably run our business? Well, if you're relying on LinkedIn, the only way I would rely on LinkedIn if I was doing paid ads, or Facebook if I was doing paid ads. If I don't know what you're doing, this is about that question could take hours, and I'd have to sit with you for hours and look at every piece of biz dev you're doing in your business to properly answer this. But I've had 6,000 coffee meetings, and I have people sending me referrals left and right people that I met years ago. The short answer is coming up, and I don't have an easy answer without knowing more about your business. But ways that I in the past used to get people to think about me, get them to raise their hand, get them to pay attention a little bit more to me. Here's some ideas of things you can do on social media. This is the flood of calls technique. You want to see your phone ring off the hook and get people you haven't heard from in years. Send this email out. Hey everybody, I have 2 tickets to blah 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 game. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is. I have 2 tickets. The first person to respond gets them. You're gonna get crushed if you have a big database. This is one way to get people to think about you, and boy, they're gonna look for your next email. Let me tell you that. So that's one way. It's called the flood of calls technique. I know a guy who buys tickets for I think it's the Niners, the Giants, the Warriors, and the Sharks every year. And just from the phone calls coming in, hey, you got them, and then you build reciprocity with that person. But those other people, oh man, I'm sorry. And then you get into a conversation with them, set up a coffee meeting, and then you rekindle that relationship, and they called you. It's called the flood of calls technique. Here's another one. Birthdays, anniversaries, hobbies. Every single day on Facebook, I go on and I wish every single one of my Facebook friends, which is like 4,800, I don't know, every day there's 5 to 30 at least that have a birthday, and I wish every single one of them happy birthday. If you see they got a promotion, congratulate them. Newsletters, pens, magnets, other promotional items. I like the way we do it in our land investing businesses. Once a month, we get an available property. We email blast it out to our database, and we'll get anywhere from 2 to 10 people hopping on that webinar to see if they can get first crack at buying that property. That makes us easy 150, 200,000 a year. send out notepads. I love notepads. I got a notepad right here in front of me. It has a Corvette on it because I want to get the new Z06 that's out. So somebody took a notepad and put a Corvette on the bottom of it, and on the top it says "From the desk of Rick Silva." That's pretty cool. I have one for my bank sitting right in front of me. I love notepads because every time they peel off a page, boom, you're still there. I love it. I'm not a big personalized handwritten note writer because no one can read my writing. If that's you, cool. Back in the day when I had the time, like I know there's a couple of guys on here that do some big things in the soccer world with youth soccer leagues. If I was trying to get in with them and I saw an article on soccer, I'd be sending it to them, magazine clips, anything I saw about how to dribble, how to build your soccer business, any ideas on health, diet for kids, halftime. I played soccer for 8 years. I would send it to them. And those guys that are listening to this right now, I guarantee they're smiling. And I'll see you guys in Pleasanton in a month. It's going to be easier to get a coffee meeting with them if I've done things like that before I just ask for a big old meeting. I've done nothing to earn it. Okay. Christina is not on. She'll get the recording. How can I train my power partners to refer me? Guys, I'm telling you, what I'm going to show you has made me millions of dollars. I never, ever have I showed this to anybody except my very closest referral partners. There it is. So this is where wealth comes in. This is where you can get rich. And I mean, you can make literally millions. I don't care what industry you're in. When you stop calling leads on the freaking phone, you got to call them on the phone. You got to ask them 10 million questions the whole time. They don't give a crap about answering your questions. They just want to know how much you charge. So again, I work with mortgage lenders in the real estate business. If a mortgage lender says I have a client with at least 20, they got to be 20,000 to 2 million to work with us. So if they have $20,000 in cash or an old IRA, then I send this form to the mortgage lender, and I will not contact the client until this is filled out. It doesn't have to be. No referral partner is going to fill out this entire form. It's not possible. But I want as much info as they can give me. So I want their name, their age, their occupation. Are they married? Because guys and gals, boys and girls, if you're going to meet with one and you need both to make the decision, then I'm not meeting with one. Both decision makers are there. I'm not going to meet with them. That's how you save hundreds of hours a year in appointments. I want to know what city they live in. Now, I live in San Ramon, those are the Bay Area. I will drive to Livermore, Castro Valley, Walnut Creek. If they're farther than that, I'm going to do a webinar. I need to know where they live so I know if I'm going to offer a face-to-face or a webinar. How long have you known them? What's your relationship? What have you told them so far about what my wife does regarding land banking? What did they say when you told them? Why do you think they'd be interested? Do they have, I'm not asking how much per se, I want to know, do you know, this first one anyway, do they have investable funds? Do they have an old IRA? About 80% of the people that invest with my wife's business use old IRA, so we want to know. Do you know what their investable funds are? Because they got to have at least 20,000. Do they have previous knowledge? I want to know, did their uncle buy some land by a lake and lost his money because he speculated? I want to know all this stuff. Are they real estate investors? Because I need to know what lingo to come with. What other investments do they have? This doesn't get filled out to the best of their ability. I don't contact the person because I am not a cold caller and I don't call leads. Guys, the busier you get, the more referrals coming in, the pickier you are going to get. I'll say this over and over. 80% of your income is from the top 20% of your clients. All right. Whew. There's a lot that goes into that, but that's the short answer of how you teach. Because not only do I give my referral partners this, I have a whole webinar teaching them how to become a referral partner. And Clint, I see you on there, Clint. You and I are going to meet. I apologize for not contacting you sooner. I want to meet with you and go over this, and I'll give you all kinds of free training for free for getting on this and for me lagging on getting back to you. All right. From Chris. Chris is on, and Chris is smiling right now. I don't know where Chris is. Chris is smiling. Chris, yours is you and Carol. Carol's on also. I'm personal friends with you guys. I'd rather meet you for coffee and answer this. This is not a short answer. So Chris, my friend Chris, does benefit insurance. So she can work with companies, lots of different types of companies. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from like 2 to hundreds of employees. So Chris, here's the challenge. You got to have like 25 elevator speeches. That's the bottom line. And those of you that haven't been through my elevator speech training, contact me and I'll get you the videos. Okay, so the elevator speech training teaches you to have an elevator speech. Now, if I'm sitting with, let's say I'm networking with a CPA. If he works with small business owners, my elevator speech is going to ring to him for small business owners. So it'll say something like, hey, if you hear a small business owner with 2 to 25 employees say any of the following, then think of me. And if you haven't gone through my elevator speech training, this goes over your head a little bit. I'm sorry. Now, Chris, when you're sitting with a big time business consultant who has clients that have, 100 to 300 employees, then it's going to be, if you hear the CEO of a company say, and you got to reword it, you got to change the quotes, you got to reword it, and you got to direct the elevator speech to the size of the clients the person is working with to fire their reticular activating system. That's my short answer. I hope that helps. You're a pretty smart lady, passed the bar, attorney, insurance agent, referral queen. I think you got it. Thank you. Carol, how to raise my rates without losing repeat clients. Do I simply tell them I am? Do I give them a reason, like providing value? Carol, giving them a reason why you're raising your rates is from a position of weakness. Yes, you tell them. And Carol, you're so busy, and you are so busy. You have so much business. You have to do this. You have to do it to make business sense. What business in the world doesn't raise their rates? I'm sitting here. I got every iPhone that's ever been out. The first iPhone did not cost $1,400 like the one that's out now. My rates weren't what they are now when I first started. The busier you get, the harder it should be to get to you. The busier you get raises your confidence. Your confidence breeds more money. Carol, also, if you have enough referrals coming in and you lose some clients, sorry, let them go find someone else as good as you. That's the way I look at it. Now, I raised, and I was sick over it, my networking groups when I raised the price from $395 to $425. So this is what I did, Carol. This is another idea. You don't have to do it. Do not raise your rates on your current and past clients. Only raise your rates for your future clients. So in B2B gathering, anybody who's been with me longer than 5 years, they don't even know I raised the rates. They're still at $395. Everybody that comes in is at $425 now. It's another way to look at it. But with confidence breeds higher rates. Jay Abraham charges, if you meet him 1 day a month for 6 months, so you get 6 meetings with him for $100,000 because he's busy and he's confident. I hope that helps. Now, we're going to speed up. We're going to rock and roll here. We're coming into the home stretch. And I want to keep you guys here all day. I've got an unbelievable offer coming up. I've never done what I'm going to do. If you guys are interested, it's coming real shortly. So just hang in with me. I want to talk to you about the sources of where business is going to come in for your referrals. Okay, so referrals are going to come in from your past, current, and future clients. You're going to program their minds with elevator speech. You're going to build reciprocity. You're going to do what I put in my 10-hour networking course to teach people how to build their referral-based practice. I'm not even going to tell you about the other course, but the other side of your life, you're either going to get business from clients or you're going to get business from power partners. That's a whole nother course. I'm going to do an advanced networking webinar. I'm going to do an advanced power partner webinar on that coming up soon. You guys will learn more about that. Today, I want to tell you about the 10-hour course that can help you build your referral-based practice. Let's just blow right through this. All right, so let's have a couple fun slides. I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to offer you guys today. just a couple. I like to lighten the mood a little bit. It seems I'm being nice, but actually just networking. I like that one. We're not gossiping. We're networking. So most people go, Rick, I network everywhere I go. I go to networking events. I network. And when you go to networking events, when your mouth is moving, so there's another little tidbit for you. When your mouth is moving, you're marketing. And when you're handing out business cards, you are marketing. You are not networking. Yeah, I try networking, but everybody I know someone to point to. The real currency is not greed, but generosity. I like it. If you look at this picture and you really, really, really get it, and you become one of the people in this picture, and you become a connector because you want to be, because you want to help people 10 times more than you want to earn an income, you will build an unbelievable referral-based practice. Thanks for getting on, Clint. I'll be done here in 3 minutes. And then these are all the things that involve the networking. A lot. Now, one last cool little thing here. Let me check one thing. Here we go. Okay. So this is the sine wave that you don't want in your business. And the people that I coach and have the biggest problem with their income going up and down is because, do you see this green arrow that's aiming up? They're killing it. They're rocking. Business is coming in from whatever. And they're getting really busy. And the busier they get, the more they cut out their networking. The busier they get, the less they network. And I got no way to word this other than the way I'm going to say it. Right here in this area here is oh shit. Because what happens is as you start making sales, you're closing out your pipeline. You're making sales. They're going away. But you didn't network. So as the business goes, oh shit, I better pick up my networking. And then this gap here in real estate is months and months and months. In some businesses, it's only a week, but in some businesses, it's months. And now you had a $60,000 month, but then you had a zero month. So you didn't have a $60,000 month. You had two $30,000 months. We want to get it a little bit more leveled out. I'd rather have 30,000 every month than 60. So we got to continually network. The busier we are, the more we should be networking. This is what your life should look like in your life as you're referring people to each other, you're introducing clients to each other, you're just out connecting, and that's what the course is built around. I'm going to get into that now. So I really hope you enjoyed the webinar. I had an unbelievable time. I hours and hours and hours putting this together for you. I hope it was helpful. If this was even remotely helpful, the Coffee Meeting Millionaire course is going to blow you away. So I'm going to give you an irresistible offer now. Just bear with me. I'm going to lay this out for you and tell you what I'm offering you. Now, if you're seeing the recording, I want to let you know this is open for you also. We have a lot of people live. We had a lot of people register, and some people are going to see this on the internet. I'm offering this to you. Okay. So the Coffee Meeting Millionaire Essentials course, it's a 90-day home studying course. It's 10 hours of me teaching you how to network. There's 12 modules. I'm not going to go into great detail in each one of them because I want to get you guys going on with your day. We go into great detail on the networking pipeline, the foundation of your networking success. We go with the law of reciprocity. The next module, selling, marketing, and networking, a deeper dive. Then the third one alone, if you paid me $1 million, you're getting a deal because the elevator speech is the foundation of all networking. And then we go into different types of networking groups. We go into law of mutual exchange, how to have success in networking groups, what to do at networking events, how to build your practice, book coffee meetings from networking events, staying top of minds, tons and tons of ideas on how to get leads and referrals. We're going to cover the law of increasing returns. I've had some of the most unbelievably world-class training on selling with testimonials. I'll go over that with you. Every one of these modules is 30 minutes to an hour. One on cold calling, I'm great at it. I hate it, and I feel bad if you're doing it, but I can teach you how to turn it into a warmer call. Then how to build your ant farm, teaching people to refer business to you. And then you get the referral. What are you going to do with it? And then some ideas on goal setting and time management. So let's go over it. There's 12 recorded webinars. All the webinars are converted to MP3, and you get all the PowerPoint slides. I'm going to send you the 2 elevator speech videos so you can craft your elevator speech. You send me that elevator speech typed. I'm going to critique it on video, and I'm going to send it back to you. The value of all of that is $1,276. Guys, it's not $1,276, it's $395. Okay, I'm going to try to add 2 more things to get you off your butt and do this so I can help you. Is if $395 is a little too steep, we can do 3 payments of $149. I take all credit cards. You can always call me and we'll talk about it. This is the extra big bonus, okay? The first 30 people who respond, oh, by the way, let me back up real quick. It's also 30 minutes of one-on-one coaching with me for the $395. This is the big bonus. For the first 30 people who respond, I'm going to give you 1 hour of one-on-one coaching. And not only am I going to critique your elevator speech on video, I'm going to videotape myself critiquing your elevator speech. I'm going to put it on my YouTube page. It's going to have your name in there. And over time, that's going to be tremendous promotion. So guys, if more referrals and more money and less time is something you like in your business, I promise I can help you. Just give me a call or send me an email. Thank you very, very much for getting on. You can call me anytime. That's my personal cell phone number. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I'll leave this on the screen. Call me anytime. Thank you. If you have questions, you can write on and I'll be right back. Thank you.